Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Our practice today is called Simple is the New Advanced. And we'll begin taking a comfortable position. Just gently transitioning into the practice by becoming more aware of the way that your breath moves your body, aware of the sensation of your breath as it enters and leaves the nose. Finding a gentle and calm rhythm where the inhalations and exhalations are the same pace. The inhalations creating an even expansion in the entire torso so that you can feel the sides, the front, and the back all moving with the inhalation. The exhalation gently released through the nose. And I chose the title of this practice because I notice it can be easy to forget how challenging the more simple poses can be, depending on the amount of presence that we bring into them, on the amount of muscular or physical effort balanced with ease. Simple poses, they can bring a whole new dimension. So this is what our practice is about. Can we use the poses as a means of becoming more intimate with ourselves? Can we see these shapes and transitions as a means of inhabiting our bodies with awareness and compassion? Beginning with an excerpt by the poet Naira Wahid. If the ocean can calm itself, so can you. We are both salt water mixed with air, after all. Remembering that we use the breath to communicate to our bodies that we're okay. That this practice is a breath practice, and the body is just along for the ride. Next time you inhale, we'll extend the arms, and as you exhale, we'll guide the hands to the heart. Just a reminder to be gentle with yourself. Take breaks when you need. We'll continue just taking a moment to extend the legs if you want to stretch them up a little bit. And we'll continue warming up our spine, coming back to a seated position. We're going to begin with lateral translation. So shifting your entire rib cage over to one side, and then shifting the entire rib cage over to the other side. trying to initiate this movement from the center instead of from the shoulders or the arms. Finding a rhythm with your breath. And do one more cycle. And we'll come back to center. And we'll bring your chest forward, feeling the shoulder blades coming in towards each other. And then round your upper back, separating the shoulder blades. Let the chin follow the movement of the spine. Maybe inhaling as you extend, exhaling as we round. And at the end of the cycle, we'll come back to center. And we'll continue coming onto the back. And if you have a block, keep your block handy. And if you don't have a block, it's okay. It's not necessary. You can also use a big book, anything that you can bring in between your thighs. And once you're on your back, we're going to extend your legs up. We're going to practice external rotation. So external rotation, the thighs roll outwards away from the center. Internal rotation, the thighs roll inwards towards the center. Try to think about this movement coming from your outer hips and thighs. Internal rotation, toes point in. External rotation, toes point out. But the movement is coming from your hips, from the thighs. So we'll do about 4 or 5 total. Keep going for 2 more cycles. At the end of the cycle, release. Take a little bit of a break. And then bend your knees 90 degrees. And the rule here is to keep your knees over your hip bones. So we don't want to straighten the legs by jamming the knee. We want to straighten the legs by using muscular engagement. Imagine your thighs are reaching down towards your butt, that your calves are reaching up towards your heels. So inhale, bend your knees 90 degrees. As you exhale, extend your legs. Think about the muscles separating away from the knee. Lots of strength in the legs. So when I do this, my legs shake. That's a good sign that you're doing it correctly. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend, engaging the muscles in your legs. One more. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend, engaging muscles in the entire leg. Okay, that looks really simple, but I find it's not easy. Just let everything shake. Move however feels good for you. Maybe just kicking your legs side to side. And we're going to get ready to come into a bridge pose. So can you point your toes slightly out at an angle? Focus on the contact of your feet against the ground. If you want, you can bring a block in between your thighs. As you exhale, engage your glutes and lift the hips. At the same time, we're going to extend your left arm straight up and stretch the forearm and wrist using your right hand. As you push downwards with your right hand, can you push upwards with the entire left arm and hand? Try to keep the breath calm. And we're going to switch to the back of the hand. Stretch the back of your left hand, pressing down with the right hand. Okay, now we switch sides. Try to continue to focus on calm and even breath through the nose. Keep the engagement through the legs and the glutes. Switching to the back of the hand. As you're stretching the wrist, continue to press down through the back of your knees all the way through the heels. Release at the end of this breath. And if you have a block, just set it to the side. We're going to bring your knees in and just roll forward to the front of your mat. And we'll continue coming into downward dog. Just taking a few moments if you'd like to move around. And we're going to practice that same skill of extending the legs using muscular engagement, bending your knees. As you exhale, extend your legs, but try to do so using strength. Inhale, bend the knees. And as you exhale, imagine your calf muscles reaching down towards your heels, your thigh muscles reaching up towards your butt. Again, inhale as you bend, lifting the heels. Exhale, think about engaging the muscles of your legs as you extend. At the end of this cycle, we'll walk to the front of your mat and fold forward, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing the head. And the next time you inhale, we'll lift the chest halfway. Exhale, bend your knees. And as you inhale, coming into chair pose. Feel the connection of your toes, the feet with the ground. Whenever you exhale, let the arms hinge down and back. Inhale, come all the way up with your breath. Exhale, hands to the heart. We'll continue with a gentle standing vinyasa to move with the breath. We'll take your arms in front of you like you're holding a big beach ball, relaxing the shoulders, feeling the feet against the ground. As you inhale, expand the arms, imagining your lungs expanding. Exhale, press the palms down to the earth. Take the backs of the hands together to touch. And as you inhale, draw the elbows up. As you exhale, coming back into the original position. Inhale, expansion. Exhale as you press down, grounding. Back of the hands touch. Inhale, drawing the energy up the center line. Exhale as you return. Again, inhale, expand. Exhale, pressing downwards. Inhale, drawing the energy up. Exhale, returning with your arms in a circle. Inhale, last one, expand. Exhale, observe what you can relax in the movement. Inhale, drawing upwards. Exhale, we come back to the original position. Bring the palms to face up. And as you inhale, come all the way up with the arms. As you exhale, fold all the way down with your breath. Inhale, lift halfway up and pause. Exhale, step your right foot back, taking the right knee down. As you inhale, Extend the arms up. Feel the connection of your front foot with the ground, length through the spine. Try to create space between the top of your left thigh and your torso. So instead of sinking down, we're lifting up and out of the pelvis. Lots of length from the hip bone all the way through to the knee and down to the ankle. One more breath in, and as you exhale, release the hands to the ground. Lifting your back knee, we'll step back into plank. And then lower all the way down to the stomach. Legs, core active, coming up into cobra. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears, lengthen the neck. And as you exhale, we'll release and press back into downward dog. And as you inhale, the right leg extends. Exhale, guide your right foot forward, left knee down. Inhaling as you extend the arms. Low lunge, creating space between your top thigh and your torso. Actively pushing down through the right foot. At the end of your inhalation, we'll exhale to release. Lifting the back knee, as you exhale, step forward and fold. Bending your knees, the next time you inhale, we'll come up to chair. As you exhale, let the arms hinge down and back. Inhale to come all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to the heart. Feeling the breath somewhere in your body. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, halfway lift and pause. Exhale, left foot goes back, left knee to the ground. Inhaling into a low lunge. As you exhale, release the hands to the ground. Plank pose. Your exhalation lower with control all the way down. Inhaling into cobra. Take your time. As you exhale, releasing to the ground. And downward dog when you're ready. Following your breath, as you inhale, the left leg extends. Exhale, step it forward for a low lunge. This can be done easier by first taking your back knee down to step your left foot forward. So you always have that option. As you inhale, arms extend, reaching through the spine. Exhale as you release. Lifting the back knee, inhale. Exhale as you step forward and fold. Bend the knees for chair, inhaling into chair. As you exhale, let the arms hinge down and back. Inhale all the way up to standing. As you exhale, hands to the heart. And again, inhale, arms extend. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, right foot goes back, right knee down. Inhale into a low lunge. Exhale, release the hands to the ground. Step back, plank pose. An alternate vinyasa would be knees down. Exhale, child's. Inhale as you roll forward into cow pose on your hands and knees. Exhale, downward dog. Another vinyasa could be inhaling plank. Exhale, slowly lower like we've been doing. Inhale into a cobra. So you always have the choices. Any movement with the breath you can substitute for these vinyasas. When you're ready, come back into a downward dog. As you inhale, the right leg extends up. Exhale, step your right foot forward, left knee goes down. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, release the hands to the ground. Inhale, lift your back knee. Exhale, step forward. Inhale as you come up into chair pose. Your exhalation, the arms hinge down and back. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to the heart. The next time you inhale, we'll lift the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, and we'll lift the chest halfway as you inhale. Just get ready to come into a seated position on your mat. We're going to take a few moments to give our feet a little bit of love. So we really undervalue, I think, the importance of our feet and foot care. We're going to start by taking every single finger in between each of your toes. Make sure the fingers go as deep as you can, touching the spaces in between the toes. The first movement is to take the toes towards your front foot and then curl the toes towards your body. So 3 more. Toes forward and then towards your body. Using your hands to do the movement of your feet. Make sure that your fingers don't slip. And now we're going to twist the foot. Twist the bottom of your foot to face up and twist the bottom of your foot to face down. 3 more. Last 2, twisting up, down. The last one. Then we're going to pause and we're going to squeeze your foot with your hand, making a fist. Try to relax your face and your neck. And release. 2 more times. Make a fist as tight as you can. Breathe. Release. And the last one, squeeze as tightly as you can. When you release, your foot needs to free itself from your hand. Don't use your hand. Use your foot to do the work and we'll relax. Maybe just notice any difference of sensation in your 2 feet. And we're going to repeat the same exercise with your left foot. So bring your fingers as deep as you can in between your toes. Make sure that the fingers are in contact with the skin in between the toes. Then the first movement is going to be turning the foot forwards towards your front foot and then rounding the top of your foot to point towards your body. 3 more times. Last one. After this, we twist the bottom of your foot to point up and then twist the bottom of your foot to point down. And do this 4 times total to see how much mobility you have in the movement. Now we're squeezing your foot with your hand and releasing. A total of 3 times. The next time you squeeze, try to make it a little bit harder. And the last time that you squeeze as tightly as you can manage. Calm breath. And then without moving your arm or your hand, your foot needs to free itself from the hand. So this is a little exercise I learned from one of my favorite teachers, Jules Mitchell. If you like this kind of stuff, biomechanics of yoga, make sure you check her out. One last thing to prepare for our standing poses. If you look at your foot and you draw a line from the big toe to the outer heel, and then draw another line from the little toe to the inside of your heel, that forms an X. We're going to try to focus in these next standing poses on pressing down through this X, the bone of your big toe to the outer heel, the bone of your little toe to the inner heel. So try to visualize that X as we go through these poses. When you're ready, we'll come into downward dog. And let's take a few breaths to prepare. And the next time you inhale, we'll extend the right leg up. As you exhale, we'll bring your right foot forward and take your back heel up for a high lunge. Taking a moment, settling your balance. Try to recreate that space between your upper thigh and your torso. And now try to focus on feeling that pressure as you push down through that X of your front foot. Notice the feeling of the breath in the pose. And the next time that you exhale, we're going to take your arms back, hinging your chest forward. And get ready to adjust your back heel to come into a warrior one. You're going to bend your back knee, focus on a neutral lower back, maybe extending your pelvis, your tailbone down towards the ground, and then press down through the back heel, extending that back leg using muscular engagement when you extend it, like we practiced before. Can you imagine pressing down through the X of your front foot, feeling the grounding of both feet? Notice the movements that your body makes with the breath. Whenever you exhale, we're going to release your hands down. Lift your back leg for just a moment. And we're going to set your back foot down again, closer for a pyramid pose. The pyramid pose, both of your hip bones will be pointing forward. And we're going to bend your back knee. And like we did in Warrior One, press down, anchor the back heel. Like we practiced, bend your front knee and try to really engage the muscles of the leg as you extend the front leg. So we're not just jamming the knee. We'll end with leaning forward through the chest. Arms can stay at your hips or arms can extend forward, but that's pretty spicy. Think of reaching back through the hips as you lengthen through the top of the head. At the end of your breath, we're going to bend your front knee and then lift your left knee to your chest using your hands to help you. Release, inhale, arms extend, and as you exhale, fold forward and relax. And then from here, if you have a block handy, you can also use a chair, anything that maybe can be used as some support for your hands. We're going to leave your right foot down. Option 1 is to leave your back toes in contact with the ground, even though most of the weight is in the front foot. Option 2, extend your back legs straight back, keeping a slight bend in your right knee. Think about pressing down through the X of that right foot. Keep your hands on the blocks or hands to your hips. Extra spicy, arms extend forward. Please choose what allows you to maintain a calm breath. At the end of your breath, we're going to release. Inhale, extend the arms up. As you exhale, fold forward. Just relax, maybe moving around a little bit. The next time you inhale, lift the chest. And as you exhale, downward dog, step or hop. Inhale, rolling forward to plank. As you exhale, we'll lower slowly to the ground. Once you're on your stomach, imagine there's an ice cube underneath your belly button, and you want to lift your belly button up and away from that ice cube. So that's how we're thinking of engaging the core. When you're ready, as you exhale, lift the chest for cobra. Shoulders away from the ears. Noticing the sensation of your breath somewhere in the body. Allowing the back of the neck to stay long, neutral. And just noticing where the mind goes. Coming back to feeling the sensations in your body, feeling the breath. Releasing from the pose. We're going to come into another variation where the hands are a bit wider. Fingertips or palms can be flat, is up to you. When you're ready, engaging gently through the core, we'll lift the chest. I like to try to keep this image of my mind of an even back bend to the entire spine. Trying to feel that the upper back muscles are working, not just the lower back. The legs, the core are active, but the neck, the face, the breath, calm, relaxed. As you exhale or release from the pose, tucking the toes, exhale into a child's pose. Maybe feeling how the breath moves your sides, your back. Please feel free to stay here. Otherwise, you can inhale, come onto the knees. Staying on the knees, bend your elbows for a push-up. Come back up, and then back to child's pose. Repeat that, or this time come into a full plank. Inhale, bend the elbows any amount. Exhale, coming back up, and downward dog. From your downward dog, the next time you inhale, we'll lift the left leg. Exhale as you bring your left foot forward, getting ready for a high lunge. Option, hands can stay on your front thigh. Otherwise, lifting the chest, you can choose to extend the arms up as well. So I'm just trying to find space between my front thigh and my torso, really feeling the anchoring of the front foot. The back leg is strong. Imagining pressing down through that X of your front foot, grounding into the earth. And take another breath in as you exhale. Take the arms back to the hips. Prepare for warrior one. In this pose, we often hear that the heels should be aligned a certain way. But what really helped me to understand this pose and how to make it accessible for different bodies is to instead think about finding the position with your feet where you can feel the connection of that X to the ground. So even if your feet are quite wide, even if it doesn't look like the quote unquote correct alignment for the pose, try to find the connection of your feet with the ground and let that be a guide for you. Be lengthening your exhalations. As you exhale, release your hands down, lift your back leg straight back. Left hip stays back. Set your back foot down for pyramid. Grounding your back heel. Can you bend your front knee and try to extend the leg, keeping the muscles active? It might help to lift the toes and focus on pressing the heel into the ground first to engage the muscles in your leg, and then the toes rest on the ground. When you're ready, hinge forward. And try to maintain the muscular engagement of your front leg, even as it's extended. I know it's not easy, but it's a way that we can create strength, mobility, and support our joints at the same time. Allow the breath to remain calm and even. As you exhale, we release from this and lift your right knee to the chest, holding it with both hands. As you exhale, release your foot. Inhale, we extend the arms. Exhale as you fold forward. I'm going to get ready to take your blocks or whatever it is that you can use for support. I'm trying to begin by really trying to press down through that X of my left foot. Keep the left hip back in space. Option 1, the toes of your back foot can stay on the ground. Option 2, extend your back leg, keeping your front knee bent. If you feel like you can extend your left leg a bit more, do so, but make sure that you keep the muscles engaged in that leg. think about your butt and your hips doing the work. Arms can be forward as long as the breath remains calm. This is a really challenging pose for me. I can feel lots of things shaking, and I just try to breathe calmly with that. Here I have to take a little bit of a break and set my hands down. And then shake it out. Release when you're ready and just stretch your arms up. As you exhale, fold forward, and any movements that feel nice for you, wiggle things around. We'll get ready to come up into a standing position. And we're going to do a little movement that is really great to strengthen the muscles in your ankles and your feet. So think we're going to separate your toes, lifting your toes, and then use your toes to walk your feet forward. So no jumping, no momentum. You use the strength of your toes to kind of pull your feet forward in space. It feels funny, um, but there's a doctor who treats people's backs just by focusing on the feet and on strengthening the muscles in the feet. So that's something you can do at home easily. So I do about 15, at least 20. When you get to the front of your mat, just relax for a moment. Then we'll bring your feet together so your ankles and your knees are touching and come into chair pose. Taking your hips as low as feels okay. When you exhale, can you lift your heels but keep your ankles together? Inhale, drop the heels slowly. Exhale, lift the heels, squeeze them together. Inhale as you bring them down. 2 more. Exhale to lift. Squeeze the knees, squeeze the ankles together. Inhale down. Exhale, lift as high as you can. Don't move your hips. Hold. Slowly bring them down. Exhale, lift your heels as high as you can, and now straighten your legs. Keep the balance, straighten your legs, and very slowly can you fold forward, keeping your legs extended. If you need to bend your knees, please do. Notice the breath. Can you calm the breath? Only go as far as feels possible and then relax. Walk your feet out and then come down for a squat position. In your squat, just moving side to side. I like to add a little bit of bouncing. And then from here, we'll come back into a downward dog. From your downward dog, we'll roll forward into a plank pose. And as you exhale with control, coming down to the stomach. Once you're here, inhaling up into cobra. Exhale, release to the ground. Tucking the toes, we're going to come back onto the heels. And then continue all the way up onto your knees, extending the arms up. From here, as you exhale, slide your shoulder blades down and continue to circle your arms down and then up again, lifting the hips as the arms go up. Bend the elbows, slide the shoulder blades down the upper back. Hips go down to the heels. Take the arms all the way up. One more. Try to engage the muscles in your back as you slide the shoulder blades down. Arms go down and up again. This time, pause with your elbows bent. pressing the shoulder blades against the upper back, finding length in the spine. Keeping that length, either bring your hands to your hips, or you can take your hands to the heels. Choose what feels best for you. Feeling the strength in your legs, the muscles under the belly engaged so you can extend through the spine. Notice if your neck is straining, can you keep the back of the neck long? Finding a neutral position if possible for your neck. As you exhale or release, gently twist to the right and gently twist to the left. Any movements that feel nice for you with your head or neck. And when you're ready, we'll come forward onto your hands and knees. And then we'll bring your forearms to the ground. If you have a block or a book, it could come in handy to have it in between the palms, like so. And we'll try to focus on pressing the elbows inwards and the shoulders back in space. So elbows pressed down and in, shoulders back. Option number 1, keep your left knee down and do this with your right knee 90 degrees. Doing slow circles with your ankle. Option number 2, come up into a dolphin pose and do the same movements, lifting your right leg, bend your right knee 90 degrees, and begin to slowly circle your ankle. Nothing moves except for your ankle. Notice if you're moving fast. Can you make the movement slow and controlled? The biggest circles you possibly can. Notice if the breath wants to accelerate. Can you maintain the same calm rhythm? When you've done 4 to 5 circles, switch directions. When you've done the same amount in both directions, take your foot down. Feel free to rest. Or you can start right away with your left ankle. Bending your left knee. Begin to move in circles. Real circles. No triangles, no squares. Try to maintain the stability of the shoulders away from the ears. Once you've done 4 or 5, switch directions. Notice if you want to speed up. Please, can you move slow? Ankle circles look so easy, but done slowly, I always get cramps. When you've done 4 or 5 sets, just release and rest. Bringing the focus back to the sensation of your breath. Next time you inhale, we'll come forward and just end up on your stomach, however you want to get there. And we're going to take your hands back until your wrists are more or less under your elbows. Here, can you draw the elbows inwards and push down from the elbows through the hands into the ground? Engaging the legs. When you're ready, we'll extend forward through the chest, lifting the chest only as much as feels okay. So the elbows are drawing in and we're pushing down through the hands. Visualizing creating length through the spine. Neck is neutral, relaxed. And as you exhale, we'll release. And just rest for a moment. And we're going to get ready for another variation of Salavasana. And so when you're ready, we're going to extend your arms back. Notice a difference in your shoulders if your palms face up as opposed to when they face down. Facing down helps us to get a bit more opening across the chest. When you're ready, we lift the chest, focusing on engaging the muscles of your legs. The core muscles are also engaged to help us support the lengthening of the spine. Try to keep the back of the neck long. And can you bring your focus back to the breath? Observing what you can relax. And as you exhale, we'll release and go back into a child's pose. From here, we're going to be doing circular movements with the spine. It's coming onto your hands and knees. Press the elbows towards each other. Inhale, extend the chest. As you exhale, take the elbows down towards the ground as you bring your butt back to the heels, and then circle up and forward again. Shoulders away from the ears. Bend your elbows. Let your shoulder blades come towards each other as you go back. Exhale, round the spine as you circle forward again. So make sure the elbows are pressing in towards each other. Try to focus on feeling the triceps as you take the elbows down. Circling up and forward. After the cycle, switch directions. So now we bring the elbows down and move forward in space. And as you exhale, round your back, separate your shoulder blades as you take your butt towards your heels. Squeeze the elbows in towards each other. Bring the elbows down as your chest comes forward, shoulder blades together. As you exhale, round the back, separate your shoulder blades as you take your butt back. 2 more. Following your breath. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears. And at the end of this cycle, we're going to turn over to the left. So kind of a side bend in a tabletop position. And just turn over to the right, side bending. And we'll come back to center, and we'll get ready to come up onto the knees. And once you're on your knees, you can take a block in between your thighs. If you don't have a block, you can just look at your thighs. And just remember, external rotation is when the thighs rotate out. Internal rotation is when the thighs rotate in towards the center. And this movement, we want it to come from the outer hips and your glutes. So this is what we're going to try to practice now. You're going to bring your left hand, your left knee, and your right heel all in the same line, like you're on a tightrope. Press your left hip firmly in, so you're engaging the outer hip muscles, and take your right arm up. So make sure you don't move your left foot. It stays in the same line as your left knee. From here, focus on pressing down through your left hand and on really engaging your left butt cheek. Think about externally rotating that left thigh. And really pressing that left foot into the ground. If you feel like your hip is really stable, maybe you can lift your right heel, or maybe you can balance your right foot off of the ground. That's super hard. to do without losing the action of your left hip. Focus on feeling your butt, your hip doing the work. And we'll release, and we'll lift your left knee and take it up and back in a downward dog. Maybe stretching the front of your left hip. Hands evenly weighted, shoulders even with each other. Exhalations long and complete. We're going to inhale to extend your left leg. As you exhale, take your left foot forward and bring your left foot in position for Warrior Two. Right heel to the ground. So just remember that thing about alignment of your feet. Don't worry about what it's supposed to look like. Think about finding a position with your feet where you can press down through the X's of your feet. Anchor that back heel. Without moving your front knee, can you allow your chest to face the side of your mat? There's a tiny twist going on in your upper back. Arms extend out. Imagine creating space in between your shoulder blades. Let's notice the movement of your breath in your body. And we'll point your palms to face up. Allow the shoulders to externally rotate. Just notice a difference if you feel any. At the end of your breath, we're going to get ready to bring your feet in position for a triangle pose. So maybe walking that back foot in a little bit, letting it turn forward. I like to face my left leg as I lean forward, and then I shift my chest to face to the side. It just kind of feels a little bit nicer in my front hip. However you want to come into triangle pose, that's fine. But keeping the focus on extending your left leg, using the muscles. Feeling the connection of your feet with the ground. The engagement of your left thigh. At the end of your breath, we'll release. We're going to bend your left knee, and for half moon, feel free to have a block or a chair. Focus on the strength of your leg, your butt, your hip doing the work for you. If you feel okay, lift your right leg back. Imagine the right side of your body is facing the ceiling. Try to imagine pressing down through that X of your left foot. If you feel very stable, maybe you can hover your fingertips over the block. This requires more core strength. Try to keep length in both sides of your body in this pose. As you exhale with control, can you slowly bring your right foot down to the ground? Inhale to chair pose. And all the way up to standing. As you exhale, fold forward and just relax everything. Let your head be heavy. Inhale, we'll lift the chest halfway. As you exhale, step back, downward dog. Inhale, rolling forward to plank. As you exhale, lower slowly to the ground. Inhaling into cobra. Exhale to release. Taking your time, either child's pose or straight to downward dog. And come eventually into a downward dog. In your downward dog, we'll bring the right knee to the ground and bring your right hand, your right knee, your right foot, and your left heel all in the same line. Focus on engaging your right butt cheek, externally rotating your right thigh so it rolls away from the center. Active in your hips, we're going to lift the arm. Notice how pressing down with your left heel helps you to keep more connection to the entire body and lengthen. But since we're using this pose to prepare for our half moon, we're going to try to lighten your left foot or even hover your left foot off the ground. This is an action of hip stability. So now we're going to lift your right leg up for a downward dog, stacking your hips. I like to keep my right butt cheek a bit engaged in this pose to help feel a stretch in the front of the hip. Maybe that feels nice for you too. You can try. As you exhale, we're going to bring your right foot forward and we'll get ready to come up into Warrior Two. And just finding a stance where you can press down through the X's of both feet. So here, the right thigh is externally rotating. So like you're rolling it towards the outside. And then focus on creating space between your right thigh and your torso. Chest facing the long edge of your mat. Extend the arms out to the sides. Imagine creating space in between your shoulder blades. You can point the palms face up, externally rotating the shoulders. Maybe gazing over your right fingertips. I like to imagine inhaling and drawing the energy up from the feet, up the spine. Exhalations out the fingertips. Focus on the grounding of both feet in the ground and the lengthening through the torso. From here, we're going to prepare for triangle pose, adjusting your feet as you need. As you extend your right leg, trying not to lock your knee, but extend your leg, engaging the muscles around the knee and the thigh. Coming into triangle pose and thinking about creating that length or distance between the top of your right thigh and your torso. Like you're lengthening up and out of your pelvis in the pose. If that sounds very confusing, maybe focus on the grounding of your feet and the lengthening of your spine. Breathing is a nice thing to remember to do too. Make sure you're breathing. And we're going to release from triangle pose and get ready for half moon. Remember how much your hip needs to work for you in this pose. When we had our knee on the ground, same thing here. Try to focus on your butt and your hip engaging. Push down through the X of that right foot as you extend your left leg back. You can keep the right knee bent. If you feel like it's okay for your knee, try to extend your right leg, keeping the muscles engaged as you do so. Right hand can stay on a block, or right fingertips can hover above the block. And as you exhale with control, we'll release. And inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale as you fold and relax. From here, we're going to take a few moments to practice crow pose. If you have a block or something that you can use as a little headrest, that could be a nice option for you to focus not on potentially falling on your face, but mostly on the actions in your arms that you need to do to lift your feet. So I'm demonstrating this method. Another approach would be putting your feet on the block. This lifts your center of gravity and makes it easier to bring your knees higher, and that is a little bit easier to keep the balance in the pose. You can focus on just lifting one foot at a time and alternating feet, or lift both feet at the same time. Focus on the elbows drawing in, rounding the back, engaging the core. The breath as calm as possible. Please feel free to continue playing around with that. You can pause it. Otherwise, we're going to take a little break. And we'll come to a seated position on your mat with your legs extended forward. So if you feel like you have very tight hamstrings and it's hard for you to sit with your legs straight or fold forward, I'm going to show you an option, which is folding a blanket or a towel or your mat and placing it under your knees. When you extend your legs, think about extending it the way that we've been practicing. Like your thighs are moving up towards your pelvis and your calves are reaching down towards your heels. You're just trying to keep the muscles engaged when you extend. You can use a strap or without a strap. Engaging the legs as you extend them. Fold forward, taking the feet gently. So this is not necessarily the right way to do the pose. We're trying to keep the muscles in our legs engaged because we're trying to focus on increasing our range of motion, on creating strength while lengthening. And so just finding the right amount of engagement in the muscles of your legs that allows you to maintain a calm breath. Perhaps lengthening the exhalations. At the end of your breath, we'll release. And if you rolled your mat, just bringing it back so that you're comfortable. And we're going to bring your feet flat in front of you and just roll down until you come onto your back. And once you're on your back, try to think again about pressing down through the X's of each foot. When you're ready, we'll engage the glutes and lift the hips for a bridge pose. Arms, however feel best for you. Can you continue to focus on the grounding of your feet and on the sensation of your breath in and out of your nose or somewhere in your body? At the end of this breath, we'll take your hands to support your lower back by the hips, and we'll get ready to come into a more gentle version of shoulder stand where the hips stay a bit forward. And we just take the legs up to a comfortable angle or a comfortable position. So this way of doing shoulder stands puts less strain or less weight on the cervical spine while giving us the benefits of an inversion. Stay here or any variations of this pose that feel nice for you. Trying to maintain a calm rhythm with your breath, relaxing your throat and your neck. At the end of this breath, just gently, we're going to allow the spine to roll down until we return onto the back and just rest its spine for a moment. And then we're going to cross your right ankle over the left ankle, and then take each elbow in each hand and try to form a crescent moon shape with your body. So your feet are over to the left and your elbows are also pointed over to the left. Press the right hip into the ground. Maybe just focus on the gentle sensation in your right side of opening. Maybe feeling the breath in your sides. At the end of this breath, we'll release and get ready to switch, crossing your left ankle over your right. Switch the way that you're holding onto your elbows as well. And then move your feet as much over to the right as feels good for you. And the elbows are also pointing up and over to the right. Try to keep the left hip pressing towards the ground. Noticing where the mind goes. See if you can continue to feel the gentle rhythm of the breath. And at the end of this breath, we'll release. And bringing your knees together, allow the knees to go over to the left in a gentle twist. Give priority to the contact of your shoulder blades with the ground and the chest facing up towards the ceiling. Can you pay attention to the sensation of your breath in this twist? Where does the breath go? At the end of this breath, we'll get ready to switch sides. Bending your knees, take your knees over to the right. Imagine creating lots of space across your chest. Allowing the breath to enter into areas where you feel that you might have less space in the pose. And at the end of this breath, we'll release and just find a comfortable position for Shavasana. Beginning by coming back to the anchor of our breath. Feeling its gentle rhythm and movements in your chest or in your stomach. Maybe coming in and out of your nose. The meditation teacher Jack Kornfield wrote that attention to the human body brings healing and regeneration. Through compassionate awareness of our body, we remember who we really are. So let go of the battle. Breathe quietly and let it be. Let your body relax and your heart soften. Open to whatever you experience without fighting. To let go does not mean to get rid of. To let go means to let be. And if we can let things be with compassion, things come and go on their own. So whatever thoughts or feelings arise, receiving and welcoming them, and allowing them to pass, finding your breath again. Please remain as long as you would like here. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I wish you a wonderful and present day.